Like,
Mhm.
if I continue to think about, for example, this podcast, if I began to think about what people would think, how they would receive it, is it going to work? I mean, everyone has those things, but it's not the main focus or topic of conversation in my head. My
Yeah.
intention is to create a body of work that is going to be beneficial to others who may be able to relate, some healing for myself, being able to express a lot of these ideas and experiences. And there's an opportunity for people to learn, for me to relearn, and
Mhm.
possibly, add some more things into my toolbox by having a conversation with someone that's like minded, has some sort of relation to me, uh,
Mhm.
someone that has the willingness and openness to have the tough conversations and receive what I'm trying to say, because I'm trying to do the same thing, because we're literally setting intentions to do that. That is the purpose of this podcast. So that's just a little bit of an example of how we can start to change the framework of how we think about things when we're stepping off into a new territory that we haven't experienced before, a new job
Mhm.
opportunity that we've never been into. I'm
Mhm.
pivoting and doing other things. You're pivoting and doing other things. You actually set your mind to go to Thailand, and there is some level of excitement and anxiety, and you have all of these emotions, but the thing that was driving you was adventure and this new experience and culture. That's
Mhm.
what drove you, and
And
that's
that is
what
another
pla-
thing too that I had to figure out whether I was doing it because it was a place of exploration and adventure, or was it avoidance because of the situations in
Mhm.
my life. So I took a step back and I went through and processed everything, had a little meditation moment, and I realized my like lust for travel and exploration doesn't come from me avoiding and not wanting to be around like family and like friends. Mine is just the fact my sense comes from a sense that there's so much to learn about other people and how to connect to people, and it's not just the way Americans think, it's how Europeans think, it's how Asians think, it's how different people from different countries connect to people. And I think that is the main focus of like why I want to travel so much. I love learning about
Mhm.
cultures and how people interact. So, yeah. And even with that, I still have moments of, okay, are you really going to do this? No one in your family's ever done it. You don't know anyone in your social circle that's done it. And I'm like, and then I have to think to myself, like, I haven't met anyone in my social circle yet. Like, these are people that I still have yet to meet. And as I go through this life and as I go through and follow my dream, I'm going to meet more people that are aligned with where I want to be and the goals that I've set for myself.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's just taking it day by day. Like you have good days and you have bad days, right? Or not even a whole
Mhm.
day. Most of mine is just like a couple of minutes, and I'm just like,
Those are just
whoa, that,
experiences. Those are just moments. It's just a timestamp
yeah, it's
moment,
a blip.
you know,
Yeah.
that, yeah, it's a blip compared to all of the other amazing things that have occurred. I mean, I do my best to, when I wake up every morning, to be in this space of gratitude and
Mm,
appreciation that I get to see another day. And that's been my new, I have several mantras that I have stood by. I get to experience this day. I get to get up. I get to go
mm,
get coffee. I get to, not I have to. I've really changed the framework. I've changed the wording of how I express things. And it had been a practice of me journaling every morning and having a quote gratitude journal, but I really focus on the little things, and it
mm,
and everything just adds up, and there's so many different things that I get to experience. And if I were to compare, and I try to stay away from comparing with other people, there are some people out there that don't get or have the opportunities that we have. And yeah, a lot of things that are happening out there in the collective is disturbing, it's upsetting, some of it a bit jarring and traumatizing. But I get to choose
mm,
to invest my time into that thing that's not necessarily serving a purpose. I have
mm,
the awareness of it, but it's not serving a purpose for my highest purpose in this moment.
mm,
We get to choose. And then my other mantra that I think about a lot is and that's okay. Like, I can have a conversation with somebody and we can have a disagreement, and that's okay. We can have a difference of opinion without being disrespectful.
mm,
I can be in a situation where someone decides that they don't want to continue talking with me because we don't, and that's okay. I wasn't really in the mood to do this podcast, and I still chose to do it anyway.
Hmm.
And that's okay, because I'm also honoring my feelings and emotions, but still working through them at the same time. Again,
Mm,
going back to mindset. And there's a lot of things that we can reject of ourselves, and there's a lot of things that we can accept about ourselves. And your perspective on that is yours and yours alone.
mm,
And I reject a lot of things about myself in terms of things that are not, it can be a good thing. It just depends on your perspective. I'm rejecting the times when I say I don't feel like doing something, but I know I need to do it. So I go ahead and do it. And then I feel better after doing it, like exercise. So
mm,
I reject being lazy about getting up every day and doing a walk. That's a
mm,
good thing. It
mm.
just depends on your perspective, and I think we're so used to going to this polarity, the negative end of the polarity of a situation, and not realizing that there's a positive end of the polarity of that situation.
It is.
And I accept that there are times that I'm not going to want to do something, but I do it anyway. There's just a lot of ways that I can take this and look at it, but through all of it is going to be your choice and your perspective. And once you have the awareness and you know the difference, you can then begin to work through some of those things. Make sense?
It makes sense. I like this. I like this talk. I feel like, I don't know, it's bringing up things that maybe I need to like cycle through again as well. Because,
Hmm.
like you said, you do have those thoughts where you're like, oh, I'm rejecting this idea that I don't want to go, but I'm gonna go anyway because I know I'm gonna feel better. Uh, I There's a few goals that I made in my head, but you know that thing what you do when you're like, oh, I'm gonna work on it today, and then it doesn't get done, and then you're like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do it
Hmm.
tomorrow.
Procrastination.
Yeah, I
Procrastination.
used to be a do it tomorrow.
Uh
Today,
huh.
I'm a
Uh huh.
today
Uh huh.
person today.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that, people come out with to help us kind of have a better understanding, and what you do with it, is going to be based upon your experience and your perspective. And we're all learning and we're all growing. And, what you define that as is extremely, like what you read, you know, it's a lot to process, because we are just a drop in this society,
mm,
in this world. We're just a drop in the bucket. And you can have the mindset that you don't really matter and it doesn't matter, but you do. Because in this collective, and the part that you have to play in this collective, it can be very impactful. And one of the things that I have been discussing with a group of people is that we do matter. And even though there's a lot of these distractions and things that are not very, pleasant and humanitarian that are going on, we can do our part to add to it, and we can also attract other people who have that kind of mindset, and then we can start to build and have real community to kind of help resolve some of these things. We have to start being solution based, and it really starts with us. So with
mm,
you bringing up this topic of self-rejection and self-acceptance, that's a work that we all have to do a vision individually. And when we come together, there's going to be less judgment, because we have a grounded foundation of who we are in ourselves.
I love that. I feel like once you are
Hmm.
grounded, I feel like that's what's the missing piece in a lot of different people's narratives, because I do feel like a lot of the things that they say negativity it's towards you is also them self-rejecting as well.
Hmm.
And a lot of
Hmm.
times they're spewing out things that they've said to themselves countless times, and it comes out. And I don't think they really
Mhm.
realize what kind of impact you're making on another person when they're trying to do better and be better as well. So,
Yeah, we definitely, I think we as a society, we really got to get to the root of a lot of the things that are going on in this society, and it starts with us individually.
mhm,
And we got to learn to, let's just take the word, and this just came to mind. Let's just take the word selfish.
mm,
There's times that some of the definitions of these words kind of get schooled. And if I'm doing something that I want to do and someone comes and interrupts and they want me to do something for them, I could potentially be called selfish because I don't want to do what they want to do.
mm,
But am I being selfish, or is that person being selfish for interrupting me from doing what I want to do? And then sometimes there's this guilt that people tend to play, and then we think we're being selfless,
mhm,
and we're not.
mm,
So when you're looking at the etymology and the definition of some of these words, really take a step back and understand that when someone else comes along and they define you as being this, what are they really doing? A lot of people are out there in the collective are manipulating people into what they want to do. And I don't think
Mhm.
it's selfish for me to want to do something for myself with myself that doesn't include another person. There's a time and a place for everything. And I
Mhm.
think the time for us to be, I think it's healthy for us as individuals to be selfish because
Mm.
there's too much attention on helping the other person, but we have to be able to help ourselves and fill our own cup up before we can be the person for other people. And
Mm.
people are giving from a deficit. They're not giving from what we call overflow.
Mhm.
We're not able to fill our cup up because this person is here and grabbing this, or this particular responsibility is making us have to do this. And this is why we have to learn or be in this space of kind of, cutting out all the noise and the external stuff that's around us so we can get grounded and be the best version of ourselves and be of service to others. But we got to be of service to ourselves. Again,
Mhm.
going back
Ex
to this self-rejection and self-acceptance,
Mhm.
we have to take the inventory with ourselves.
We do. No one's going to prioritize you as more than you are going to yeah, no one's going to prioritize you more
Right.
than you are going to prioritize yourself. And that was
Right.
something that I learned because I just got into this new sequence of numbers. When the whole all of these, it was basically like you're trying to be everything for everyone at all the time. So people will call
Mhm.
you in the middle of the night, your friends calling you at 3 a.m. like, hey, can I come over your house because this happened? So
Mhm.
I feel like in my face, I feel like there are like boundaries set up and it does come off as selfish. And honestly, I don't feel like the word selfish is negative. I feel like a lot of people think of it as a negative thing, but I thought of it as my like catalyst to be more in tune with myself. If there's something that I don't want to
Self-preservation.
do, yes.
Mhm.
If there's something that I don't want to do, I'm not going to do it. So
Right.
when someone's calling me like, hey, can you do this, and I only have like one off date, I'm not doing it, and I feel
Right.
guilty. I
Right.
really
I
do
know.
feel that guilt, but I also feel
Yeah.
that satisfaction that I'm taking a day to rest. I'm taking a day to catch up on everything that I need to catch up on, and then I'll go through, and if I have time, I will help if I feel like it later. But you have to prioritize yourself, and I think we're so used to being, like I said, everything for everyone else, it gets kind of hard.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't think selfish is like a
Yeah.
bad thing. I think it's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Right, right, right. And where do you think that guilt comes from? In my observation, I think that the tendency to feel guilty
Mm.
about it has come from the self talk or something that someone else has put in you or projected to you and saying, oh, you don't want to help me, you're being selfish. And then you feel guilty about it because you've been in this cycle of doing it for so long that when it comes time for you to do it, it's going back to your level of self esteem,
Mm.
self esteem in terms of, do I deserve to have this for myself, or do I need to continue to do for others and put myself on the back burner?
Mm.
Right.
That,
And
or you're measuring your self worth with how much you give to people and how much you do for
right.
others.
Like this rabbit hole gets deep. This rabbit
Mm.
hole, that's why self development and self awareness and, getting grounded and locking into your spiritual self and having that relationship with your spirit self is so important because there are exchanges that we have with people who, don't have the best interests. You don't have your best interest in mind,
Mm.
and they're constantly siphoning and taking your energy and then projecting, making you feel this emotion of guilt because they've essentially manipulated you into thinking that they're more important than you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's so layered. This can go so many different ways. I don't know if we're gonna be doing this in parts, but this is the foundation. Like,
It's
this is huge.
intense. It
It
is.
is. This can go in so many different ways. And I'm thinking of all the occasions when I poured out and gave and gave and gave until I was depleted.
Mhm.
And sometimes
Giving your last. And then
giving
people
my
just
last.
think it's something to expect. Like they're not even, well, they say thank you. Of course, they're appreciative. But the minute you say no or the minute you stop giving your last, they're like, well, you're not of use to me anymore.
Yeah, you did it before. How come you changed? What happened? And you have people who have this sense of entitlement that they're entitled to your energy. They're entitled to your time. They're entitled to do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because we have a tendency to not have the boundaries in place.
Mm-hmm.
That boundary line gets pushed
Blurred.
until it's blurred, until it's non-existent. And then we lash out and get angry, but we're not angry at them. We're really angry at ourselves because we didn't keep that boundary line in place.